there's one thing you should know about sim racing, it's that it's not a cheap hobby. After factoring the costs of a wheel, pedals, and a cockpit, it can end up costing thousands of pounds just to get started. And that doesn't even include all the hardware required to actually run the game itself. In this video, I'll walk you through my sim racing setup, which I've carefully designed to enhance every aspect of my virtual driving experience, while staying within a sensible budget. If you wanted to check out these products for yourself, I've left links to everything in the description below. Hey pals, welcome back. I'll let you in on a little secret. I've never really been into sim racing, partly because I grew up playing arcade races like Need for Speed Most Wanted and Burnout 3, which appealed more to my teenage monkey brain, but also because I found it really difficult to use a controller for the complex inputs these games require. That all changed when I tried a dedicated racing sim for the first time. There was something about using a wheel and a set of pedals that I just seemed to connect with, and I found myself craving more of this new immersive experience. I picked up a copy of Gran Turismo 7 shortly after it was released last year, and it quickly became one of my most played titles on the PS5. But for all of the enthusiasts that are commenting about how Gran Turismo isn't a real sim racer, I know. But that makes it way more accessible for a lot of people, and it's also a really fun game that gets frequent updates and acts as a really great entry point for the hobby. After starting out with a very basic setup, it didn't take long for me to feel like I had outgrown it, so I decided it was time to upgrade for something a bit more suited to my needs. I wanted to make sure that I was getting the most value before investing any significant amount of money, so there are a couple of key factors I had in mind when choosing a sim rig. Firstly, it was important that I found something with solid build quality that was also portable enough for me to move around my living room when not in use. Secondly, I wanted a visually appealing rig that would fit in with my space and provide ample comfort and support so that I could maintain focus and enjoyment throughout longer sessions. Finally, I wanted a rig that would be future-proof and compatible with a direct drive setup for when I eventually decide to upgrade. After a fair bit of research and consideration, I landed on the Playseat Trophy, which is a really great all-in-one package combining a sturdy chassis with a comfortable racing seat, and actually isn't too expensive compared to some of the other options out there. This is the Logitech G Edition, which has a really striking grey and teal colour scheme, complemented by some additional branding. Logitech are known for making computer peripherals, but they're also starting to venture into collaborative projects with other brands. Recently, they've teamed up with the likes of Herman Miller, Peak Design, and now Playseat to create enhanced versions of their existing products. Using the included instructions, it took me about 45 minutes to assemble the rig, although some parts of the manual, such as the lumbar support strap, were incorrectly explained, and I had to do some digging online to find out why it didn't fit. There also wasn't much guidance on which adjustment settings to use, so I felt like I was just winging it at times. Once the Playseat Trophy was set up though, I was honestly super impressed with how comfortable it is. I'm quite a big guy, so one of my usual concerns is whether a product like this will be wide enough for me, but I'm glad to say that there's no issues here. The fabric is well padded and breathable, and I felt supported in all the right places. It's a bit like sitting in a really nice camping chair, and it's now the most comfortable seat that I own. As I don't have enough room for a dedicated sim racing space, I have to slide the rig in front of my TV when I want to use it. The Playseat Trophy is surprisingly lightweight, and I had no issue shifting it, making it a perfect solution for my use case. Despite this, the frame is still extremely sturdy, and I haven't noticed any unwanted flex while in use. Overall, I've been really impressed with this rig. It ticks all my boxes, and I think it's a great bang for the buck option, given that it provides both the frame and a seat. For the time being, I'm still using the Logitech G29. It's a fantastic beginner wheel, offering a really good experience for those on a limited budget. I got mine during last year's Prime Day sale, and it's only now that I'm feeling the itch for something a bit more capable. When I first unboxed it, I used the built-in clamps to attach it to a desk. However, I soon realised that the entire rig wobbled and swayed while driving, which obviously isn't ideal, so therefore I'd recommend picking up a wheel stand like the one that I used to have at the very least. The wheel itself is well made and has a good button layout, but with a diameter of 11 inches, it's a bit small for my hands and isn't the most comfortable grip. The pedals are decent quality too, but the brake needs a ridiculous amount of force for 100% actuation, so I know a lot of people like to mod these to suit their preference. I feel like I've reached a point where I want a wheel with stronger force feedback. The G29 is great for the price, but it's definitely more of a toy than a true sim wheel. There's so many options on the market these days, so I'm sure I'm not alone when I say it's hard to know which one will be right for me. If you've tried a few different wheels and can offer some input, then please leave your recommendations in the comments below. I'd really appreciate any insights you can offer. The G29 connects directly to my PlayStation via USB, which some of you might have noticed isn't actually on show. I recently added a set of cabinet fans to my media unit so that I could hide the enormous PS5 inside while still getting decent airflow. In case you missed it, I made a whole video documenting the process, so I'll add a link in case you wanted to check it out. For the visuals, I'm using a 65-inch LG C2, which is an OLED TV with a 4K resolution. The C2 is definitely one of the best choices for console gaming, allowing you to achieve 120 frames per second via HDMI 2.1 and has excellent peak brightness for convincing HDR gameplay. The combination of smooth frame rates and excellent graphics really helps the game feel more realistic, and there's been a couple of times where I've caught myself admiring the views instead of concentrating on my lap times. This TV really does allow you to get the most out of the PS5, and it finally feels like a next-gen console. Some of you might be wondering why I haven't made the jump to VR yet, especially with how much Sony are pushing Gran Turismo 7 alongside the release of PlayStation VR 2. Well, let me explain in 2 words. Motion sickness. I would love to dive into VR properly, but every time I've tried it in the past, it just wipes me out, and I've had to lie down for like an hour afterwards. I don't know if I'm missing something or if I'm just unlucky, but if you have any tips on how I can improve my queasiness, then please let me know. In my recent living room tour, I explained that I wasn't happy with the light strips I'd attached to the back of my TV. They didn't match what was on the screen very well, and the LEDs were really inconsistent, so each corner had a slightly different color cast. So just as a quick update to that video, I recently got sent the Fantasy 3 backlight kit from LightMe, which has been a much better experience overall. Not only does it have an included sync box, meaning there's no need to attach a goofy camera to the top of the TV, but they also have a higher LED density, which provides more accurate colors and much brighter lighting effects. I really like that these lights can mirror the content on your screen. It gives the impression that the image is extended past the TV bezels and makes the viewing experience much more immersive. The included sync box is what processes the image in real time to output the correct color information to the LEDs. With 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, it's the first backlight kit designed to support TVs with 120Hz output like mine, which is perfect for PS5 owners who want to enjoy their console's high frame rate capability. This video isn't sponsored, but I wanted to say a big thanks to LightMe for sending me this product. I did share some feedback with them about the app experience, which could be improved, but the hardware itself is really impressive, so I'm happy to recommend them. Finally, I'm using a Sonos Beam and Sub Mini for my audio, which deliver a much wider soundstage than the speakers built into the TV. High fidelity audio is often overlooked, but it makes such a big difference to the overall experience. Hearing realistic engine noises of the car you're using, particularly frequencies on the low end, contributes to driving immersion in a big way, and you'd struggle to find a more capable and convenient package at this price point. It's easy to assume that videos like this are just a showcase of hardware, and it is, but it's also about sharing the passion and enjoyment that a hobby like sim racing brings me. By explaining how these products come together to elevate my excitement and enhance the immersion, hopefully you'll understand why this setup has made such a significant impact on my gaming experience. Whether you're a racing enthusiast yourself or simply curious about the world of sim racing, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future uploads. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.